video at the studio. Today it's me. I'm the host for today. I'm Melody, if you didn't know. And today I just wanted to talk about our photo taking progress for product photos and photos on our website, because after making a few sales, I can definitely say that our sales are maybe 40 to 50% the photos taken. The other 40 is like marketing and the 10 is like the product itself. And that's how you know how important the photos are. We started our studio 2 or 3 years ago, and the photos back then were so bad, and I've always thought it was just like the camera's problem. Like if I had a more expensive camera, it would be way better. If I buy more props, it would be way better. If I had whatever, it would be way better. But then turns out there are some tips and tricks to take good product photos, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. And as you guys might know, my personal photos, I like using Fujifilm, and for video, I like using Sony. But for photos, we've been using a Canon camera for a really long time now, and we almost exclusively use Canon camera for now. So it's just a really basic camera. It's nothing fancy. It's the Canon M50, which is my first ever camera, and it was just put away for a really long time because I just was using other cameras for other things. But I've just realized out of all the cameras that I've had and have been using, I like the Canon's color the most, so I've been using it ever since. But you might be asking, like, isn't the Canon M50 like just APS-C? Wouldn't using a full frame be better, or wouldn't higher resolution means better for the customer because they can look at it in more detail? And that is where it actually is a little bit complicated, because the bigger the file, of course, the more details and the more the customer can look at your product. Especially for our products, which are handmade products, it's really important to show off the quality of the product, but also to show the flaws in the product, so the customers don't get confused when they receive the product and notice that there are marks or scratches or cracks, because things are handmade and there are bound to be imperfections. So yes, it is important to have high quality photos, but I don't think it's necessary to have a full frame camera for online product photos at all, because the bigger the file, the longer it will take for the website to load your photo. And that is another side of running a shop, aside from ensuring the quality of stuff is good. It is the quality of their browsing experience and how you're able to keep their attention on your website. And that is what we call retention. It is really important for you to balance both of those things, like quality and retention. So you have to find a good way to balance all of them. For photos, we usually just crop them into a square, like 204 baht. So when we export our photos from Lightroom, we always choose JPEG and choose small as the resolution. And recently we have been making these stop motion GIFs for our shop to show off a 360 view of our ceramics, and it has been a challenge because GIFs are quite big if you want it to be higher resolution, but you want it to be web ready to be able to load at the first second the customer visits your page. So we also have the GIF as the second image, so when you hover over the product on our shop, it shows the entire GIF thing, so it's like more lively, and it's like the ceramic saying, choose me, bring me back home. And I experimented with doing the animation, the GIF, in Photoshop, and it makes it really ugly. I don't know why. So I decided to go to Procreate, because they do have an option called Web Ready that makes it not so low quality that you can't see anything, but not so high quality that the website cannot load. So now on our website, it actually shows up pretty quickly. So that is just another thing that you have to put into account. So maybe a lot of shops would like to take a really big image and use it as a banner on top of their shop. And that is a really cool design for a lot of new brands, maybe clothing brands, maybe photography blogs. And you just have to keep in mind the speed of your shop and how the customers will experience your website. So getting back into our product photo taking process, we usually like to take at least 10 photos of each product, and that is because we also have a shop on Etsy and their limit is 10, and the more photos you have, the more you will be favored by Etsy, because the more photos you have, the more information you can provide to your customer. So that's why we always take 10 photos of different angles of the product, maybe a full one, maybe a lifestyle one, all of those details, and one of them would be the GIF. And then in Etsy, they also have this new feature that I don't really like. It is the short video feature that has a lot of requirements. It has to be like 5 seconds, at least 5 seconds, and then the size also has to be small enough. So it is a little bit complicated, but a lot of people just showcase the entire product, like a little bit of a spinning action to show it off, and that's not a really complicated process to go through, so that's fine also. So that would be the basic planning for all of our products and all the photos we know we will take before we actually do the thing. So now let's get into the setup. So because we aren't professional photographers, I spent a long time thinking about how we should take these photos. I'll show you some product photos that are from the early days of our shop. Disgusting. I don't know why, I don't really understand. Back in the day, maybe I thought it looked good, but now I definitely don't think so. Maybe it was my problem because now my sister is taking all of the photos. So maybe it's me. Then I thought maybe this is a mistake. Maybe using this kind of a cheaper setup is a mistake. Maybe I do have to splurge on some photo taking equipment. Maybe I do have to get one of those L-shaped backdrop paper thing to have a perfectly white background and other things. And I just thought really hard about it. But then I saw some other people layering their cloths and getting these cement style, brick styled backdrops. And I was like, maybe we can try and make this work again. So then we got some big lights. These big lights, we have two. We used to only use one, and I think that is a major problem. Even if when we were taking the photo and we think it's bright enough, we put it onto our website and it's so dark for no reason and you just can't see anything, any details. And that is maybe because our website is kind of in a lighter color as well, so the contrast is just not there. So we got those two lights, so the lighting is way better on our shop, and our lights are really cheap. They're not branded at all, so you can just get them on Amazon or something. Get the really cheap ones. They're not adjustable in any way. You cannot adjust the Kelvin, you cannot adjust the brightness. We just put it where we think makes sense. And we also got this cement style backdrop for a lot of other things. And it was a really good change because it was white. Because our desk is this dark wood color, if we use our cloth on top of it, some of the color will show through and it doesn't look as clean, or it's mixed, the color is mixed. So we use the backdrop to be our base sometimes, or be the vertical back of our products photos. It's just way better. And then we also learned to get different colors of cloths and different textures, different detailings, and to layer all of those cloths to match them with our ceramics. So here I will show you some of our recent product photos. So as you can see, they are way more dynamic, way more polished. They're able to show off our products way more than the previous ones. So then after we take the photos, it is my turn to get the spinning wheel and take the 360 of our products. And that is a newly added step in our photo taking process because we have only just recently gotten into selling ceramics. But I think that is actually a really, really cool and kind of crucial process in selling handmade goods, because you want to provide that level of transparency to your customers about how it looks exactly. So even now when we have the same design but different grade of products, so when, for example, when a mug has a crack in it and we still want to sell it, but we want the customer to know that they're not buying a 100% perfect product. So if you want our product for a lower price and you don't mind it being a little bit imperfect, you can get our grade B product. So if we have our grade B product, aside from just showing the cracks at the bottom or whatever, the handle cracks, you can also show the mistakes or the overall look of that specific product with a GIF. And I think overall it's just a really fun way for people to be able to look at your product in a more dynamic way instead of like stills. And that is also part of the reason why a lot of these platforms are pushing videos of your products. It is because they're way more attention grabbing. People are likely to look at it for a longer time if it's like moving and lively and it feels like it's alive. Beauty and the Beast vibes. So after we take all of our photos, we import them into Lightroom and start editing them. I would just also like to add that although I really love taking pictures with natural light, having just like a setup like this and in a really controlled environment just makes your entire workflow much easier. And you can take some other photos with natural lighting and some other time. But in general, we try to take our photos in a really controlled environment. So it'll be way easier to edit them and to make them look cohesive. Most of our product photos don't require a ton of editing, but if the cloth is like in a weird place, we might mask them or erase some of those dust pieces or some dog hairs. I don't know what's going on in the studio at that day. We also try to up the saturation and contrast and brightness a little bit, and also the texture, because our lighting is so strong that it doesn't really accurately show on camera how it looks in real life. So we just try to adjust it to how it looks in real life. Maybe under the sun, maybe the vibe that is going on. After we edited one photo, we can copy the edits and paste it to all the other photos and look at how it looks overall and do some minor adjustments to them individually. And then it's time to export them. And as I said before, we export them in JPEG, and it's in small if it's for our website. And if we want a higher resolution version, maybe we want to make a poster for an event, or maybe we wanted to use it for a banner on our website, we might export a higher resolution version just to be able to do that. But in general, for our website, for Etsy, we usually just use the small JPEG version, and that's already really adequate. So for the 360 GIFs, I export all of the photos that I took with my camera, which I took with bursts while spinning on the wheel thing. I export them. One rotation would be like around 10 to 15 photos, and I will do the background removal right in Procreate and use the animation feature to do all of the frames. And then at the end, I would export it as a web-ready GIF, maybe at 5 to 6 frames per second, and I will upload it onto our shop as one of the photos. So after we export the photos, it's time to upload it on our shop. So for our shop, we usually try to pick the most eye-catching or the photo that fits the vibe of that product the most. It doesn't necessarily have to be a wide shot of that product or a photo that shows the entire product. It just has to present the product the best. And for the other photos, we like to show our most favorite details at the front, and in the middle it will be the imperfections of the product, and at the back are some kind of repetitive but also still unique photos. We want all of the photos to be showing off different things about the product, so the people are actually getting information about that product and we're not clunking up the website, and that is really important. And then we would want to go out back to our own website out of the editing page and go back to our own website to look at how it looks, because it might not look good against your website background, or it may not look good against your other products. So you really want to go out and make sure that it all looks good and cohesive. And then comes the second last thing I would say, and a really important thing as well that we just discovered recently, and that is alt text. So in the past, I used to think that alt text was just for visually impaired people, and it is a really big part in online shopping and online posting, because you really want it to be inclusive and tell different people what your product is about, what your photo is about. But recently I've learned that alt text is actually also related to SEO, which means search engine optimization. So whatever you type in your alt text for your photo, it could be searchable via different search engines. So like Google, Etsy, whatever. So you really want to give your images accurate and detailed descriptions in their alt text. So not only can you help visually impaired people get to know your photo better, you can rank higher in SEO because you provided more information. And if you guys want a separate video on SEO and why it's so important and how to do it, I could definitely make one in the future. So click subscribe for a future video on SEO. So after we did all that, your product is done, but your website is not done yet. So these are the final adjustments I would make to my website. So in our homepage, we do have a featured collection, and we do have some other collections for like ceramics, products designed by me, product designed by Emily. We have all of these collections, and we used to sort them automatically by last edited, so all the newest ones would automatically be showcased at the very front. And that was the convenient way to do it, but not the best way to do it, because they might not look good together. They may be repetitive, like all of them could be mugs, but not everyone could be looking for mugs. You can show off other products on your shop as well, like apparel, stickers, hats, whatever. You want to show a variety of things from your shop in your featured collection or in your homepage where people are going to visit the most. The thing that I would do is to go back to the main page of my shop and adjust the collections and sort them manually so that the people are seeing exactly what we want them to see, and we are showing what we want them to see the most. In our last ceramics drop, the last ceramic drop, we made a ceramics collection just for that, and when you hover your cursor on it, it shows them spinning, and I thought that was really cool. We even made a reel on it. Products there ended up being really popular, so you know how important showing the products in your main page is. So congratulations, after you checked your main page, you're done with your product photos and you can go back to working on designing and other admin stuff. So as I said before, I think a lot of online businesses' success are attributed to their product photos and how they present their products. From my experience, this is definitely true, because no matter how good your products are, if people don't see them, people don't perceive them the way you want them to perceive them, they will never get the recognition they deserve. So definitely put more work into presentation of your work, aside from obviously putting a lot of effort and love into making the product itself. So yeah, that was my little sharing for the photo taking for online shops at our studio. So tell me if I should be making more videos like this, sharing tips and tricks and showing you a little bit of insight into how we run our shop, because we would definitely love to make videos like that, and maybe SEO, because that is really important in my life lately. So yeah, see you guys next time.